Elizabeth Wettlaufer, born June 10, 1967, is a convicted Canadian serial killer and former registered nurse who confessed to murdering 8 senior citizens and attempting to murder 6 others in southwestern Ontario between 2007 and 2016. With a total of 14 victims either killed or injured by her actions, she is described as one of the worst serial killers in Canadian history.
About 9:30, I gave him a dose of 50 milligrams of insulin. He's not diabetic. So I used a borrowed insulin pen, borrowed insulin, and gave him an insulin shot. And at 3:30, the PSW, throughout the night he was yelling out, "I love you," and "I'm sorry." And not to me, but just you could hear him calling out in his room, and that's what he was calling out. And then at 3:30, the PSWs came to me and said that he was gone. Absolutely awful.
How did you deal with it?
I just went home, went to bed. You know, I felt awful. Maybe I fought with my girlfriend. Did some exercising, you know.
Yeah.
Played some games on the computer and just tried to forget about it.
And this was at Crescent Care?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me a little bit about your interactions with Maurice.
He was another one who liked to grab breasts and asses.
Okay.
He was sometimes a patient of mine. See, at that time, I didn't have a set floor that I worked on. I worked on all the different floors as a nurse, kind of filling in.
Okay.
So, one afternoon I was working with him and he did grab me. And again, I got that feeling inside that this is his time to go. So I gave him an overdose of insulin.
In 2007, Wettlaufer was hired onto the staff at Care St. Care, a long-term care home in Woodstock. She was initially regarded by coworkers as caring and professional. However, throughout her tenure, Wettlaufer struggled with substance abuse and alcoholism. She faced accusations of showing up to work drunk and at one point was found passed out in the facility's basement during the night shift. Wettlaufer was suspended 4 times for medication-related errors, then was finally fired in March 2014 over a serious incident in which she gave the wrong medication to a patient.
Helen, I don't remember a lot about. She was very quiet, very determined, just seemed to be waiting to die.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I had that feeling that, you know, this is the one.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a bit of a fuss about her that night because she was very lucid.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about how much she liked blueberry pie and ice cream.
Okay.
So on my break, I went to Walmart. I got a small blueberry pie and some ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
and brought it to her. And she ate 3 or 4 bites.
Nice.
And then that night, I overdosed her. 'Cause, like I said, I had that feeling.
Okay. November 2011. Mary Zerwinski, is that?
Yeah.
How you recall her last name being pronounced?
Yeah.
And this was at Crescent Care?
Yeah.
Okay, and you said that she wasn't a diabetic, but she had dementia?
That's right. But she could talk and communicate a lot.
Mary could.
Yeah, she was feisty.
Was she?
Yeah. She didn't hurt the nurses or anything. She was just very outspoken and feisty. And one night she said, "You know, I'm going to die tonight."
Mary said that?
Yeah. And I said, "Oh." And she said, "Yeah. Why don't you get me into the deathbed so I can die?" And I said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yeah, put me to bed. I'm going to die." So I said, "Okay." And I went to the other nurse that was working with me. And she said, "Oh, okay, well, let's put her inside his care room if that's what you want." So we did, and then I thought, well, she must be the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I had a feeling inside of me she must be the next one. Because she was saying she was going to die, but there's no signs she was going to die. So I gave her an overdose of insulin. And she became palliative and she died. I think it's been a couple of days. I think.
After leaving Care St. Care, Wettlaufer had difficulty holding down a job. She was hired by the Meadow Park Care Centre in London, but lost this job after checking herself into a drug rehab facility in Niagara. She took various temp jobs at other care homes. Wettlaufer admitted to a neighbor that she was fired from one of these jobs for stealing medication and was fired from another job for making a medication error while high that nearly resulted in the death of a patient. She also wrote poetry about her desire to kill.
To November of 2011
Mm-hmm.
at Crescent Care. It says here Gladys was a type 2 diabetic and had dementia.
Severe dementia.
Did she? All right. And Helen was a type 2 diabetic with dementia.
Yeah.
So Helen was at Crescent Care.
I gave her a shot. I came up to her and said, "This is for your pain." And I gave her a shot of long-acting or short-acting, and she started to settle down. And then later on, we put her into bed, and I gave her more of the insulin. I think it was long-acting. She had a seizure. She turned red.
March of 2014. This is Maureen Victory at Crescent Care.
Yes.
Tell me about Maureen.
I'm starting to get the feeling of that surge again. I thought, no, I don't want her to die. But if I could somehow give her enough of a dose to give her a coma or something to change her brain waves, maybe make her less, maybe make her less mobile, hard to handle, left hand hard to handle.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why I overdosed her.
In her confession, Wettlaufer admitted that she knew the difference between right and wrong, but she was visited by surges she could not control. She said, "God or the devil or whatever wanted me to do it." After one murder, she felt the surging and then heard her own laughter afterwards, and it was like a cackling from the pit of hell.
So, Arpad or Artorvat?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about her.
He was mean. So Art, I gave a large amount of short acting, a large amount of long acting in between each other. And then when I left for the night, he was still okay. When I came back the next day and worked, they said that he had had a stroke.
After providing police with a 2-hour-long confession, she was formally charged with the 8 murders on October 25th. After further investigation, she was also charged with 4 counts of attempted murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault on January 13, 2017. On June 1st, Wettlaufer waived her right to a preliminary hearing and confessed to all charges in court. On June 26th, she was sentenced to 8 concurrent life terms in prison, with no possibility of parole for 25 years.